Keely Orr joins us now. Jordan Moore, Sean Cody Kessler. This is our football roundtable. So much to talk about. We've all of us have been around this program for a while, and you hate to say it, but this feeling, while kind of more painful, it is better than being in these big games and getting exposed, and we've seen some of that, and you do try to have to take some solace in that, even though you think about this game and you might be thinking about it for a year.
1,000%, and I'll preface, no one affiliated with USC wants this outcome, but I'll say I came away with it impressed by what I saw. From a matchup standpoint, on paper, I thought this was going to be rough for USC. Penn State had the number 4 run defense in the country, and I thought, okay, the one thing that USC has been able to sustain on offense so far is the run game. That was kind of Miller's safety blanket to get things going. So I thought it was going to be a rough outing, and then we saw what we saw from both Woody and Quentin. So I thought it was great in that sense. I thought as you've talked about, the offensive line took steps forward. And similarly on the defense, I thought that they took steps forward as well. That 1-2 punch that they had at running back coming off of the run defense performance that we saw against Minnesota, I was also concerned. Thought that improved as well. So overall, I know it sounds crazy to say, but it was a pretty good showing, and especially for the first half, that was probably the best first half we've seen from this USC football team.
No, I was just going to say from a player's perspective, are these ones harder to get over? Try to take us inside the locker room. Obviously, when we talk to the players on this current team after the game, and now they sort of know what to say to us. But inside that locker room, is there doubt right now, or is there resolve? What do you think?
I think initially doubt. It hurts when you lose, and you could probably hear it when I do the broadcast after a game like that. It's draining. It's hard. I can the frustration. I wear it. I can hear even when I'm talking. I can know I'm being maybe too down on the team, and then I get a second and I get to watch the film and break it down. And like Keely, you watch the game and you think, man, there's so many things this team has improved in and how they're getting better, and you got to find a way to win these games eventually, but there's just signs of improvement and trying to get better, and they're just on the cusp of that. And I remember being on teams like that where, you don't know how to win yet, and you got to figure out, and it takes a play or two, and then you're like, hey, a second, we can do this in these situations where I just feel like this team right now is, it's as much as, Coach Riley might admit it, in those situations, they're just trying to find that execution level right at the last moment. It just hasn't been there yet, and they got to find that one play that maybe they realize, hey, we can do this.
Yeah, I think there's two sides to it, right? And as a former player, these ones almost hurt more, right? You never want to go out there and get embarrassed and lose by a couple scores, but when it's that close, kind of what we've talked about, and Coach Riley said before, you go back and watch the film and it just eats you alive because there's one little, as a quarterback, one throw I should have made, or maybe I didn't read the RPO right, or maybe if I make the right check, and I know Miller's going to be the first one to self-scout and take responsibility, but if he makes that slant throw to Deuce Robinson, now we're feeling a little bit better on the day, and you never know if Lance makes the kick or what happens after that, but those are the plays in those close games that eat you alive, and I'm with Sean. I don't even play anymore. We just do the analysis side of things, and I couldn't sleep on Saturday night. I was up till about 4 a.m. I rewatched the game again. I couldn't sleep. I was going over in my mind all those different plays through all these 3 losses that we've had to where we could have just really turned the corner and found a way to get it done. But it takes experience, right? You got to learn how to win those games, and we just haven't been able to do that yet.
Cody, what did you feel like wasn't quite clicking in the passing game? To me, it seemed like the timing routes, particularly the sideline routes, just weren't quite on this week.
Yeah, and I think it kind of goes back to us talking about being in those big-time moments. I feel like, and I've always been a big fan of Miller, and I still am, and I do think he's the right guy for the job, but I feel like he presses a little bit too much in those situations, especially towards the end of the game. He's trying to throw too many back shoulders. He's trying to be too perfect instead of throwing the ball over the top. Let it rip. Let your playmakers go get the football, right? I had a huge year my junior year. I threw 39 touchdowns, 4 picks. A huge part of that was because of the playmakers around me, right? Trust those guys. Sometimes give them those 50-50 throws instead of trying to throw a perfect one-by-one window back shoulder throw. And then some of it, I think, is those hits are starting to take a little bit of a toll on him. There's a time when he threw that slant, like I said, to Deuce. I watched it back, and it feels like, he stayed level. His shoulders stayed level. It was a good throw, or it started to be a good throw, but at the end, you see him start to fall off and feel like he's anticipating a hit, although it's not there. Offensive line did a great job of picking up that pressure, but it's just, for me, I feel like, one, he's trying to press a little bit too hard, and his accuracy has been a little bit of an issue, and I think that's a factor from taking some of those hits this year.
Sean, why couldn't they deal with Tyler Warren? I understand the point that they clearly were force feeding the ball. I mean, I made the joke. It honestly, to me, in the first series or two, felt like they were trying to showcase him for the NFL, or like you would do in the pros, showcase somebody to be traded. It was like, look at everything that this guy can do. But then ultimately, in the second half, he actually hurt more because he started getting explosives too.
Yeah, I think it was just a communication. It looked like the safeties and linebackers at times didn't know who had who, and in those situations, you just can't have that. Especially with a player like Tyler Warren, he's not the kind of guy you put somebody on him and they're going to be able to cover him. He's not going to break ankles. He's not going to leave you in the running game. So all you got to do is kind of find somebody to get on him, and he's not going to make those kind of plays. But he was just left so wide open so many times. It was just kind of head scratching to me. But if you have breakdowns in those kind of situations, that's what you're going to get. And unfortunately, I think that the Trojans too many times, were just scratching their head a little bit.
Well, I want to ask the defense guy, and we can ask Sua too, but on our Trojan Tailgate show this week, where do you find, or how do you identify strength of formation when you have a tight end at center and you have a left guard playing where Zachariah Branch normally plays, then you have two linemen in the backfield multiple times and a tight end at quarterback? How difficult is that, as a defensive lineman all the way down to to the back end to figure out strength of formation or how to call it?
And that's the difficult part. That's what the window dressing is, to get you to forget about 44, right?
Yeah.
All right, all this stuff. Where do I even line up? I got to figure out what to line up, and then you have your rules, and it clicks in. But then you forget, they're going to try to get the ball to 44, and that's probably in some of those situations where they mix-matched them and put them all kinds of places. That's where you lose them because, you're just worried about lining up and not about your responsibility. Like, they're going to try to throw the ball to 44 every time.
What do you want to see this week? Now we begin an interesting part of the schedule to me, where to me the games are pretty winnable on paper in terms of how the opponents have fared. USC's played, if not the toughest, one of the toughest schedules in the country. I mean, again, it's no solace to anybody, but if you look at the ESPN computer rankings, they have USC ranked, I think, 13th or 14th in the
FPI.
country. Yeah, FPI. And it's because of the strength of schedule and how close the games have been. So now you have a little run here where you can get it going. You're going to have to do it on the road, though.
Yeah, and that's what I want to see, a Big Ten road win.
Yeah.
Put it all together. You have the pieces. You've shown it. Do it, and do it on the road. I know that's simple, but really that's what's needed right now.
And this is the game this is with an opponent of Maryland. They got kind of curb stop against Northwestern. You watch that game, and they didn't come out. Their home field game just didn't really show up. So I'm sure they'll have a better game plan, and it'll be USC, and they'll be excited. But this is a team that you want to see come out, and they should dominate this game. And I want to see some domination. Let's take over this thing. Let's not make it a last quarter game. Let's not make it a tight one. Let's get out in front in this one.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that. I thought we did a good job of starting fast, though. I will say that one play, 75-yard to Quentin Joyner. That's what we've been looking for, right? We talked about it on the pregame show, but I'm with Sean on that. I want to see, and you can't take them lightly. You got to respect your opponent, but I want to see us go out there and dominate from start to finish and pull away with this one and get some of the backups in and be able to have a comfortable lead in the second half.
One final segment of Trojans Live on a Monday night here in the basement of Heritage Hall on the campus of the University of Southern California. As I mentioned, there's a men's basketball exhibition game going on tomorrow, 7 p.m. I'll go on, I guess, at 6:30 right here across the USC Trojans Media Network, USC versus UT San Antonio. So check that out, the first game of the Eric Musselman era. Just an exhipution, though, doesn't officially count in the record books.
Will there be a winner and a loser? Or just kind of...
there's always a winner and a loser in life, Sean.
Yeah, but are you putting all your guys
just
out there?
Just like there is in the over-under.
Boom, there you go.
I think they're going to play. I think they're going to play their guys for the most part, but I don't know if they'll ultimately.
He couldn't help it. You got him going already. He's ready to talk some
NFL preseason games. Did you like playing in NFL preseason games?
I did not like playing.
No.
Yeah, so maybe that fine. The over-under is presented by Pechanga Resort Casino, proud partner of USC Athletics. Our over-under is 999 rush yards for Woody Marks this season. He's at 579 through 6 games. USC has not had a 1,000-yard rusher since Ronald Jones II in 2017. Rojo ran for 1550 that season, though, so he did not have a problem eclipsing 1,000
different
yards.
era.
But, different era.
Was this true freshman season?
No, I don't think so. I think it was the Pac-12 championship season.
Okay.
His true freshman year was my senior year.
Yeah, he was really the best player. That year that Darnold came back, that offense really ran through Rojo. The year they beat Stanford in the Pac-12 championship game, he was really the best player on that team that season.
4-4 not
he
found.
pulled off
I'm in this season at this point.
He pulled off that miracle against Texas. The halftime play that they ran was pretty cool.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
What do you got, Sean? Over under? You think Woody Marks is going to be a 1,000-yard rusher?
I'm going to go over because I think it's going to be. I'm looking at about 1,200. Man, I think he's going to get more carries as the thing goes on.
Yeah, I'm going over as well. He's MVP of the offense in my opinion so far this season.
Yeah, I would say over as well. Maybe if we see a development like what Cody wants is more Quentin Joyner kind of having a 1-2 punch.
But I just don't want that to take away from Woody.
Fair.
If we take away from the pass game, get Quentin more involved, I'd love that too. And that's a quarterback saying that. But yeah, no, we need some more Quentin Joyner touches, but not at Woody's expense.
Yeah, and preview of our Trojan Tailgate show, my first thing is going to be, has this team maybe found its run identity or its offensive identity, and it is through those two backs.
Yeah.
Not just Woody, but Quinn as well. Well, thank you to everyone. Trojans Live is a production of USC Sports Property and Playfly Sports. Our executive producers, Matt Wells, producer Rick Cutler, Ben Conroy here in studio, production assistants, Gia Lares as well, Brian Cohen back at the ESPN LA studio. Thank you to our in-house team as well. Follow us on YouTube. Sorry about the audio issues, but you can see the clean audio on YouTube. For Sean, for Cody, for Keely, I am Jordan. Fight on, everyone.